Hola, hi. Let's talk about the all or nothing trap that so many of us fall into. And I think there is a danger of burning the candle at both ends. It's like this: either I'm doing this new diet where I have to exclude a thousand of things, and I do it completely, or I eat crap. I definitely have fallen into this one. Or either I'm able to paint on big canvases because this is what I love. If the circumstances and the environment aren't right, I won't do it at all. I And when it comes to creative stuff, what's so interesting about this, that there is this myth of the creative or of the artist who has to be kind of nearly obsessive in a way, and throw themselves with, we have a saying in German, with skin and hair into it, and just be immersed into this experience forever, and maybe sometimes reappear and deal with normal things, and then back into this thing. And I don't want to say that it isn't maybe valid to a certain point, but I don't agree with it, to be honest, because first of all, I have really learned that anything too extreme isn't very healthy, and when you end up then with some chronic stuff, you basically really have to look after yourself, and there's no way you can continue this all or nothing policy. It just throws you deeper and deeper and deeper into the hole, in a way, where you can't climb out of anymore. And it's like this never-ending roller coaster of being either up here or being down here. And I just don't think that it's very helpful. Yes, I've come to that conclusion. I would say that when I was younger, I would throw myself quite a bit over the cliff. Of course, there are certain things, like when you work on a theater piece, that there's a phase of intensity, and then afterwards, when the performance or whatever is done, it might feel empty. But I think to live your life like this all or nothing policy is just not working. And from my perspective, it is more important to be adaptable and to allow yourself to still be creative even when circumstances aren't perfect. Whether that is a health challenge, whether you're going through difficult life circumstances where you have to look after your parents, I don't know what it is. But for me, creativity is connected with playfulness and not with obsession. That's the main difference I'm making here. I think you need to be quite obsessive to go into this all or nothing thing. And you might come up with great pieces of work, but the lightness and the playfulness goes missing. And I think if you develop more of an open mind, more of an experimental mind, you can say, okay, yes, I love painting on big canvases, but right now I don't have the circumstances, so why not try an art journal book, even though it might feel really weird, and you might still have this ingrained belief system, I only can paint on big canvases. But once you get aware of this, you can question that belief, because maybe it's not true. Maybe you just are not used to doing things differently. And I think being creative means being willing to try something different and trying something new, versus just being so rigid about things and saying, this is the only way I can do this. So even though there are great performance artists like Abramovich, I've forgotten her first name, who said you have to throw yourself, I don't know how many percent, 150% into things. And I love her work, by the way. I just really think it's not a very healthy thing to do for most of us. However, what is healthy, to express ourselves creatively and to find ways to do that in a continuous, consistent way. And I have to admit, like, for example, I think we are all different. Like, I am not the person who sits down and draws for hours. I draw for an hour and then I put it away and then I take the drawing again. And I really feel much freer since I have overcome this idea of I have to be immersed into something for hours on end, otherwise I'm not doing it properly, whatever it is, you know. I'm not just talking about art, but whatever it is. I have had phases where that worked, but I think also I love dipping into this and then dipping into that. And it makes me feel a little bit more relaxed and at ease, and it feels much better to me. And so I would say, and the same thing applies to things like diets. Yes, of course, sometimes you really have to be very strict with certain things, but I personally rather prefer now to mainly eat healthy, but still have the chocolate cake once in a while, something like that. So I just want to say, ease off the all or nothing attitude and be a little bit curious where that shows up in your life, this all or nothing. And is it helpful to you? Is it healthy? Just be a little bit more aware, question it, and ask yourself, could you maybe experiment with doing it differently and allow yourself to do something rather consistently that still has joy versus becoming totally obsessive about it or dropping it altogether? That's my 2 cents on this. And I wanted to remind you that I have this wonderful new quiz, the Magic Quiz, where you can find out about your creative archetype. And I have some wonderful prescriptions. It's on my website under offerings. And I put the link into the description below. Have a great day. Bye-bye.